A sannyasi was making an announcement. This evening, he would he said there would be a scheduled visit to a nearby temple to see the deity of the Sheshashayi Vishnu, and some of the pilgrims cheered, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. The sannyasi also announced that His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, would speak that evening for the last time and would be leaving the parikrama party the next day. So there was a choice of going on the parikrama or staying for the lecture. Srila Prabhupada, so I met them in Koshi, and Keshava Maharaja was informing that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta is going to Mathura tomorrow morning and he will speak Harikatha this evening. Anyone who wants to may remain, or otherwise they may go to see the Sheshashayi Vishnu. So at that time, I think only 10 or 12 men remained. Sridhara Maharaj was one of them, and I thought it was wise. What can I see at this Sheshashayi? Let me hear what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati will speak. Let me hear. When Avoy arrived, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta was already speaking. He sat with his back erect, a shawl around his shoulder, not speaking like a professional lecturer giving a scheduled performance, but addressing a small gathering in his room. At last, Avoy was in his presence again. Avoy marveled to see and hear him, this unique soul possessed of Krishna Katha, speaking uninterruptedly about Krishna in his deep, low voice, in ecstasy and deep knowledge. Avoy sat and heard with rapt attention. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had been speaking regularly about Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha is the stage of devotional service in which awareness of God is awakened. Abhidaya is rendering loving service to the Lord, and Prayojana is the ultimate goal of pure love of God. He stressed that his explanations were in exact recapitulation of what had originally been spoken by Krishna and passed down through disciplic succession. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's particular utterance, mostly Bengali, but sometimes English, with frequent quoting of Sanskrit from the Shastras, was deep with erudition. It is Krishna, said Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is the only super lord over the entire universe and beyond it of Vaikuntha, the transcendental region. As such, no one can raise any obstacle against his enjoyment. So, Prabhuji, can I stop here?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Abbas Prabhu, for this wonderful narration of Srila Prabhupada pastimes. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming together this morning to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam and Lord Krishna, and thank Shama Mataji for giving this opportunity to speak. I just have a small disclaimer in the beginning. As you know, I'm not very well versed in Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm just doing this as my service to the devotees and to my spiritual master and for my own purification. So if there is any error or decision, please come forward to rectify it, and I'll be more than happy. Thank you. So let's start with Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Bhakti Jana Vallabha Girvardhari Yashodanandana Bhajanandana Ramunakira Vanchari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha, Girdhari Radha, Girdhari Radha. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Bala Dev, Jaya Subhaya, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Sita Gaurivo, Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Vanshabhada Paramahamsa Parivapacharya Sri Satsasimad Ishwarin Divan Jeshra Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Vividhi Founder Shri Prabhupada Ji, ISKCON Guru Binji, Shri Shri Radhagidari, Shri Shri Gauritai, Shri Jagannath Bala Subhadra Giraj Maharaj Ji, Gaur Bhakti Bhakti. So today the verses are 24, 4, 18, 25 and 26. We'll recite them first and then we'll discuss these verses. Verse 25. Vata vastavana pastaya priyag rasamayam paya giriyo himavat vasta nana dhatum sanusu. Vata vastavana pastaya priyag rasamayam paya giriyo himavat vasta nana dhatum sanusu. Verse number 26. Sarvasva mukhya vatsena swese patre patakpaya sarva kama dugam prithvim duduhu prithu bhavitam. Anybody else like to recite this number 26, verse number 26?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sarvesha mukha vatshena sheshe patre pritak payaha sarva kama dugam prithvim duduhu pritu bhavitam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, I'm also trying.
Thank you.
Bhatta vatsha vanaspataya prithag rasamayam payaha girayo himavat vatsha nana dhatum shasanushu.
Also, yes.
Sarve samukhya vatsena sheshe patre prithak payaha sarva kamo dudham prithing duduhu prithu bhavitam.
Thank you.
Krishna Prabhuji, dhanyavad pranam.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Bhatta vatsha vanaspataya pritagra samayam payaha girayo himavad vatsha nana dhatun swasanushu sarve swamukha vatshena shve shve patre pitaka payaha sarva kamo dudham prithvim duduhu prithu bhavidam. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you very much. So anybody like to do the translation and word by word for verse 25?
Hare Krishna. Pratavatshaha, making the banyan tree a cup. Banapataya, the trees. Pritak, different. Rasamayam, in the form of juice. Paya, milk. Giraya, the hill and mountains. Himavad Vatshaha, making the Himalayas the cup. Nana, various. Dhatum, minerals. Sha, own. Sha Anushu, on their peaks. Hare Krishna.
Anybody like to do the translation?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you.
The trees made a calf out of the banyan tree, and thus they derived milk in the form of many delicious juices. The mountains transformed the Himalayas into a calf, and they milk a variety of minerals into a pot made of the peaks of hills.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, verse 26. Anybody like to do the word by word and the translation?
I could try, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Synonymous. Survey all, Swamukhya, by their own chiefs, Vatsena as the calf, Sway in their own, Patre, pots, Prithak, different, Payah, milk, Sarvakama, all desirables, Dugham, supplying as milk, Prithvim, the planet Earth, Duduhu, milked out, Prithu Bhavitam, controlled by King Prithu.
Sorry, Mataji. Anybody like to do the translation perfect? Okay, I'll do the translation perfect. Thank you. The planet Earth supplied everyone his respective food. During the time of King Prithu, the earth was fully under the control of the king. Thus, all the inhabitants of the earth could get their food supply by creating various types of calves and putting their particular types of milk in various pots. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Vijay. This is evidence that the Lord supplies food to everyone, as confirmed in the Vedas. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidanti. Come on. Although the Lord is one, He is supplying all the necessities to everyone through the medium of the planet Earth. There are different varieties of living entities on different planets, and they are all derived eatables from their planets in different forms. On the basis of these descriptions, how can one assume that there is no living entity on the moon? Every moon is earthly, being composed of the 5 elements. Every planet produces different types of food according to the needs of its residents. According to the Vedic Shastras, it is not true the moon does not produce food, or that no living entity is living there. Om Jnanatamidasya Jnanajana Svakaya Yakshurmitavinay Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha Namo Vishnupradaya Krishnapstaya Bhutale Madhitavan Krishna Goswami Tinamini Namo Vishnupradaya Krishnapstaya Bhutale Madhi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharani Nivishesha Shvanivadi Pashyata Desatarani. So in these 2 verses, we see in the first verse, there is no purport. In the second verse, number 26, there's a short purport. So before we discuss these 2 verses, I'd like to briefly go through briefly review the previous verses to get a connect to these 2 verses. In this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 17 and chapter 18, we see that after appearance of Prithu Maharaj, he found his subjects dying of hunger. And if he found that the earth, Mother Earth, was withholding all the seeds and herbs that was created and given to her by Lord Brahma. Because of this, King Prithu became very angry. And he was like anger personified, he was like Yamraj. And he appeared in this very angry form to Mother Earth, who had assumed the form of a cow. And because Mother Earth, in the form of a cow, is extremely grieved, extremely fearful, she started offering very wonderful prayers. This is mostly in chapter 17. So she appealed to King Prithu that, oh Lord, in the previous ages, you rescued me from the bottom of the universe, where there was water of inundation, and put me back in the orbit. So how can you, if I have taken a form of a cow, you can kill me? I am also one of your subjects. And she addressed her as Dharadhara, he who holds the planet Earth. So previously, we can see the Lord has rescued Mother Earth and has put her back in the orbit. So Mother Earth was recapturing that incident to appeal to Prithu Maharaj to please not just slay her, as she was also one of her subjects. After hearing this petition, Prithu Maharaj become a bit peaceful, and then then Mother Earth in the form of cow suggested that Prithu Maharaj can milk resources in the three forms by creating a calf, a pot, and a milkman to milk the cow. She said, because I'm fond of the cow, of my calf, please bring the calf so somebody can milk me. So at the beginning of this chapter, we can see there are different entities, a group of people coming together to milk different resources of the earth, Mother Earth. We can see that there are different groups or categories, and there's a calf who's the chief, and different types of milk are being sourced out from the earth. See, like in verse 25, you can see that trees are appearing, and the trees have their chosen. Banyan tree is the chief, and milk that's coming out is juices, different types of juices. And in 24 and 23 and 24, we have seen four-legged animals, and they have chosen the bull as the calf, and they are getting fresh grass, and they have made forest as the cup to hold the grasses. And then in the same verse, we see that ferocious animals like tigers, and they have made lion as the calf, and their source of milk is flesh. And the birds are also mentioned. Birds, the chief of the bird is Garuda. So Garuda becomes a calf, and their milk is moving insects and non-moving plants and grasses. Then in the previous verses, we see this is a common theme. We have a group of category of living entities, and they are creating a chief to represent them. And the resources that are coming out is the milk, and they also have a pot to store these resources. So in verse 19, we've seen that in Siddhaloka and Vidyahara Loka, they have selected Lord Kapila as the chief, as the calf, and what they are harvesting is mystic power, like Anami. And the Vidyaharas are harvesting the power of flying, and the skies become the pot. So this is a common thing. We have a group of people or living entities coming together, and they are selecting one calf as a chief, and they are harvesting different resources of Mother Cow. And they also have some energies given where the pot is being created to hold these resources. So it's very interesting. This part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. What he's saying that when we cooperate, when Mother Earth started cooperating with the Lord became favorable, and then Mother Earth started giving her resources. She not only gave resources in form of milk to different living entities, but to all the living, even snakes and scorpion, whose milk or main resources is poison. So we can see the Lord is very, very merciful. The point is this: if there's cooperation between the Lord and the living entity, then everything becomes favorable. So also we see in this thing in the other scriptures too. We see in the Bible, in the Genesis, the Lord says, "Behold, I given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree which seeds in its fruit. You shall have that as food, and so be it." So in the Bible, the Lord has given in the beginning of creation all the living entities, fruit and grains as the main food. So although they have digressed from this principle, still the Lord is very merciful. And in the same verse, it says that, and every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everyone that creeps on the earth, everything that has breath of life, I have given you a green plant for food. and so was it. So even for the beasts and creeping living entities like snakes and flying entities like birds, the Lord has given only made provision to provide food from green plants. As you know, green plants is the main primary food producer, because the green plant has got this chlorophyll and they're able to utilize the sunshine to make food from the air, especially carbon dioxide and oxygen. So green, by the process called photosynthesis, the green plants are the primary source of food production through the medium of sunshine and through the air, which is composed of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So this is the Lord has made such very nice arrangement to supply all the living entities with different types of fruit and different type of food. And even these living entities are trying to harvest the resources of the earth. They have selected one chief, like here we see. The trees chose banyan tree as the chief, or one who's responsible for securing these resources. And by the combined effort, they are able to get delicious juices. So this chief has been given a responsibility to get everyone together to harvest these resources. The chief is given this responsibility to work conjointly with the other living entities to get this milk in different type of resources. So even in the Bible, it says that the Lord has given dominion, has given human beings the dominion over the other living entities. So the word dominion is being misused by the Christians. They think because the Lord has given dominion, they have the power to eat them or exploit the resources. The word dominion means to be responsible to maintaining the living entities. It's not that living entities are to be exploited for the people who are entrusted with the responsibility of keeping them, giving them protection. So this complete misconception that by the word dominion, the natural resources of the earth to be exploited for their own sense gratification. Because of this misunderstanding of the principle and misapplication of the principle, we see this widespread of meat eating in the world, especially amongst the Brahminic origin religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So because they have misinterpreted this principle that is given in the Genesis, first the Lord is given this, and then the Lord also said, thou shalt not kill. They also misrepresent this principle to apply indiscriminate killing of animals for their own sense gratification. Because of this, there's so much adharmic things appearing in the earth. Mother Earth is not happy, and it's coming at a lot of disasters. So the chiefs are entrusted with harvesting the milk, different resources from the earth. The chiefs have to get together to harmonize and give protection or give these resources to the living entities. One thing very interesting in this series of verses is that the Lord is supplying the needs of individual beings according to the karma and guna. We see even the snakes and scorpions are being provided poison. One might say, oh, how is the Lord giving all this, what we might consider unnecessary things, because it can be used to kill somebody. But here we can see the Lord is impartial. Impartial in the sense, the Lord is giving individual entities their needs according to the guna and karma. So because the snakes are by guna, they are ferocious and envious, they are given this food in the form of poison. While the Siddhaharas and Vidyaharas are given unique ability to fly or have the different siddhis. So the Lord is very impartial. He is giving according to individual needs what they require. Different resources, different people, different living entities, different needs. And the Lord, because He is impartial, He is giving this different resources to different entities according to the needs. So Lord is impartial, but then somebody might say, Lord is also partial to the devotees. When the devotee prays, the Lord reciprocates and give them protection. So how is the Lord, can you say, is impartial at the same time and partial to some living entities? So this is explained by Acharyas as the Lord, when he's maintaining somebody and he's providing needs of the devotees, he's reciprocating. So reciprocation is a very good quality of the Lord. The Lord sees the mood of the devotee and he reciprocates according to their welfare to bring them up. So he's in one place, he's reciprocating, and in another place, he's being impartial in providing so many different living entities with their individual needs. So Lord is same time being impartial and also being partial, because he's reciprocating to the needs of the devotee according to their advancement. So this is very, very important point to note, because in the current environment, we have Wokism, there are different cultures, and we have, of course, the secularism, we have communism. The communism applied this sort of uniformity in a very incorrect way and have a very serious consequences. Their philosophy is that everything is owned, all the resources are owned by the government, and everyone should share equally. They are saying everyone should have, even the educated people should go on the farm. They work on the farm to produce goods. That's owned by the government, and the government will distribute equally to everybody. And because Srila Prabhupada said this is material communism, but the spiritual communism is that everything is owned by the Lord himself, and he distributes according to the needs of the people, as we have seen in these verses. So the communist idea was so badly applied that even the scholars and intellectuals and traders were all sent to the farms and as common laborers, and they were made to work hard labor, because there was a class war between the working class and the intellectual class, and it had a very, very serious consequences. Whole economy collapsed, and so many people were killed. Millions of people were killed because they're not following this principle given by the communist government. So we can see everybody cannot be equal. The Lord has created everybody in different levels of gradation, from the innocent to more intellectual, working class, different skill, to the Brahmin class, who are very intellectual. They can guide the society. But when you try to artificially bring everybody together on the same level, then the consequences are going to be very, very serious. We can see in the communist government, they are trying to make everybody wear the same type of uniform, same type of culture, but then individual needs are not met. So eventually the whole communism principle failed in China and Russia, and they've gone back to capitalism, where there is full opportunity for everyone to exploit the resources according to their ability and class. So this type of, only the Lord, because he's very extremely intelligent, extremely merciful, he can create this system where all the needs of the living entities, different living entities, animal, birds, the aquatics, man, demigods, everyone's needs are provided according to their needs, not just wholesale uniformity. So this verses really teaches that the Lord has created this universe according to the needs of these living entities, and not made everything uniform. We can see that the human society is divided into 4 classes. We know from Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 4.13, says that Chaturvana Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhaksam. The 4 divisions of the human society are divided according to Guna and Karma, not according to birth. So the Guna and Karma carries on throughout the different categories of living entity, right from the demigods to the ants. Everybody is applied. Same guna is applied. And we see that in human society, when we try to equalize everyone without trying to create a classless society and without the guna and karma, the result is a very big disaster. Same thing in the communism system. It's not trying to create everyone on equal basis without reference to their guna and karma. So the guna and karma are there, and the Lord reciprocates according to individual needs and individual guna and karma. We see this episode in the similar thing applied in Chaitanya Charitamrita when the Lord Chaitanya was doing the Gundika marjanam, cleaning of the Gundika temple, and there were different types of devotees. They were working very conjointly to clean the margin of the temple. After this, the seva is finished, Lord Chaitanya organized a big prasadam distribution for all the devotees who participated. And he instructed the servers to serve the devotees according to their likes. So it's not like somebody might like gulab jamun, gulab jamun, somebody like karela sabji. So here the Lord is very perceptive. He knows that all the devotees are not on the same level. Some likes of different prasadam, some might not like another type of prasadam. And he was very sensitive. So he instructed the servers to serve according to the likes of the devotees. So the Lord is very perceptive in this sense. And we can also see this example where the guna and karma is perceived by different types of people and who are in different modes. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj was preaching in Burma, now it's called Myanmar, he was trying to serve halwa to the people who are the villages who are around there. And when the halwa was being cooked, because of the ghee, the aroma coming out was so nice for the devotees, was aesthetic. But the taste of the halwa was so different, so appealing to the devotees. But when it's trying to serve the residents around the ashram, they were not liking it. They didn't like the smell of the ghee. They didn't like the prasadam. But because they were in different modes. So one time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj noticed this very bad smell was coming out from some villages. And he inquired, what is this? What's happening? So the disciple came and reported that in one part of the village, they're eating like some sort of soup, which is the favorite among the villagers. Maharaj said, so what is the soup? He said, that is a very obnoxious smell, because what they do, they put a dead dog in a big pot and make it rot. And when it's rotten, the juice that comes out, everybody partakes. And because that's their favorite. Then Maharaj explained, because then in a mode of ignorance, their food is different. They cannot appreciate a sattvic food like halwa. So according to different modes and different guna, people are different inclination. And so the Lord provides accordingly. So it's in one of the lectures I heard that trying to give uniformity to everyone leads to impersonalism. We see, if suppose we make one law, suppose we say, okay, today we only serve kitchen to everybody. But then the different people who are coming to temple might have different likings. So it might work okay for the first time, but if you continue doing that, the number of people coming to temple might reduce, because they have different tastes, different likings. So that's why we have variety. Variety is mother of invention, mother is a mother of necessities. So we see this, if you feed same thing, make it very uniform, it leads to impersonalism. Because now we can see in the Western countries, they are given some numbers, or we get IRE numbers or different numbers, and we are identified by that. The name may be there, but just the number is more important. When you want to log into any app, or we have to put a password, and they are more identified with the password than the name. So this it leads to impersonalism. It's because we're going to be very sensitive. Different people have different likings, and we got to see that we do preaching according to the needs, not just go full on and say, oh, it's 4 degree principle, and just first lecture show this, and people are not about that level. So we have to mold our preaching, mold our outreach according to the needs of the people we are preaching to. We see sometimes devotees are very abrupt. First lecture they give to any newcomers with 4 degree principles, and the people are just amazed or just very just put off. How can we do this? We are just studying. So it's very important we have to be very sensitive according to the needs of the people or the student or the audience. We have to give the class or give the principle according to the understanding. It's just like here in the primary education system. We have the preschools, then the primary school, then the intermediate school, high school, undergraduate, graduate, PhD. So when initially we just start with 1 + 1 is 2, but when you go higher and higher, we start higher mathematics, we get algebra, then calculus, and then we go to university even higher and higher. So according to the understanding, this is given. So in these verses, we see the Lord is maintaining everyone according to the needs, and the jivas are getting the resources from the earth according to their needs and according to guna and karma. So to maintain this, the Lord has huge amount of intelligence, and the Lord is very perceptive, sensitive to the needs, and is providing according. This is the Lord's merciful. That's why Lord Vishnu is in charge of maintenance. To create something, it requires a lot of passion, like Lord Brahma is creating, but the ingredients provided by the Lord. So the creative energy, but the engineering side is very passionate. It'll get everything together, plan, budget, build it. Once it's complete, the creation is complete, the maintenance is the more difficult part. We can see the temple, if somebody wants to build a temple, call it the fund, with the design, get the land, the construction, we tender it out, and the construction is finished. Then once the construction is finished, the deities are installed, and the maintaining the temple after that is a very difficult task. So creation is a mode of passion, and maintenance is in mode of goodness, and then destruction is in mode of ignorance. That's why Lord Shiva has an easy task. So the maintenance of the living entities is taken over by Lord Vishnu himself, because he's perceptive, he can see what are the needs, he provides accordingly. So these resources are there, but when the resources are exploited, which is not conducive or favorable to the Lord, and which is not liking to Mother Earth, then the system goes haywire. We can see this in even current system. The oil has become one of the, they say it's a black gold, and it's creating so much problem. Oil is being exploited from the earth by big drills, and even from the sea and on the land. And what is happening, because so much oil is being extracted, the rotation of earth is slightly, maybe very infinitely small, getting out of its axis. And that's also creating so many disturbances. So oil industry is like ugra karma, and it should have a bad repercussion, because we have this pollution, we have a lot of geopolitics taking place, wars taking place because of exploiting the energy from the earth, and leading to so many disasters. And because the earth is now going out of kilter from its original orbit, creating different disasters, like we have flooding, droughts, and fires, untimely, unnatural, we can call it, because the Ugra Karma industries are exploiting the resources of the Mother Earth when she's not happy. It's not natural. Idea is Vedic system is to exploit the resource of earth according to the Vedic principle. So we have farming, we have cows, and when it's maintained properly, the cows and the land can maintain the family very, very easily and without creating any natural disasters. So, but the humans are not satisfied. They say because of the economic needs and the exploitation is going on. Especially, we see here in the 19th century, there was this Industrial Revolution. What the Industrial Revolution did is to create artificially these big industries, Uber Karma, and produce nuts and bolts. And the repercussion was that people who were doing farming, the farming became very not very economical. So they slowly started moving to cities. So urbanization started taking place. The capitalists started exploiting the people, the workers, and then more sinful activities started taking place. Because of sinful activities, the population start not following the dharma. Because the dharma is not being followed, then all these repercussions start taking place. The consequence of riots, fire, divided society, mental instability, economic shortfalls, wars, because of this. So it's this Industrial Revolution is, I can say, it's like Ugra Karma, and it's not natural to the living entity, at least for the human beings. And then after this, there was food shortage, and then somebody invented this Green Revolution, a Green Revolution whereby the land was being massively utilized by artificial means, artificial fertilizer. There are these hybrid plants, hybrid varieties, genetically engineered seeds, and they want to feed the population very quickly by mass production. But what has that led? This has led to the depletion of nutrients in the soil. The soil was so much inundated with artificial fertilizer, it leads the main nutrients of the topsoil, and the soil started depleting natural ingredients and becoming more and more stressed. And so they start putting more fertilizer. And by putting more fertilizer, although the yield was there, but the fertilizer started leaching out into the river. And then this effect on the marine life. And the water table started going down and down. So they started applying more fertilizer. Then they started going into the genetic engineering, hybrid. So the Green Revolution has very bad repercussion. And now in India, they are also banning some of these genetically engineered seeds, because once the seeds are engineered, seeds are genetically produced, the seeds that comes out from the crop cannot regenerate by itself. So they have a seed bank which are kept separately from this one, from the genetically engineered crop, and they have to. That seed bank has to be produced naturally. So these big companies like in America, I think Monsanto, they are doing this capital marketing. They want to have a right to the seed bank, and they can supply to the farmers. So what will eventually come point, they'll become the main suppliers of the actual natural seed, and all the other crops will be genetically engineered, and they'll completely depend on one source. So now in India, there's quite a bit of movement to keep away from this genetically engineered seeds and GMO material, and just go green. And you can see that quite a few movements. Sadhguru is doing these soil regeneration projects, and the other NGOs are also doing natural resources, and to get away from this artificial exploitation of Mother Earth by putting fertilizer. So these things are going on. So the idea is, if you follow dharmic principles, then the Mother Earth will produce natural ingredients and to sustain everybody. So we see dharma, protect dharma. If there's adharma, then the whole ecosystem goes out haywire, and this all the living entities has to bear the brunt of the disasters that follows them. So we know from Bhagavad Gita that the rains are produced, and the seeds are produced from the rains, and rains are produced from a wood, and so on from your yajna. So the main yajna for this age is Sankirtan yajna. So if this Sankirtan yajna take place, people become more merciful, more receptive to Vedic system, and then they can come back to the natural way of living, and then Mother Earth will be pleased, and fruit, grains, vegetables will be produced in abundance. So the yajna for this age is Sankirtan yajna, and we know, if Prabhupada said, and also the scriptures attest to this evidence, by Sankirtan yajna, all the needs of the people will be satisfied. So just by our chanting, by congregation chanting, doing Harinam, following the Vedic system, every living entity become happy, and eventually the Mother Earth will become happy and provide so many different entities, all the living entities with their needs. So to conclude, we can say that the one take on point is that the Lord provides according to needs. The Mother Earth becomes favorable when her resources are taken in a dharmic way, and she withholds her resources when the Mother Earth is being exploited. The Lord provides everybody according to their needs and their karma and guna. The Lord is all merciful, and the way to have a dharmic life is to follow the Vedic system. So I'll stop here. Anybody has any queries, comments? We still got a few minutes left. We can comment on it. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for listening in patient. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhu.
After a long time, you can hear from you. And it was very, very beautiful class. You have given the very basic and very important insights, which helps us to understand the importance of Mother Earth, which is nowadays is mistreated by all the human beings living on it. So as you mentioned about this spiritual communism and material communism so nicely, that is what actually he was trying to make equalize everyone, but that is not possible. Lord has made such a such beautiful creation, maintaining everybody at their own level, and we need to understand that through this spiritual communism, not material communism. And he explained that example as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur experienced, and what is that? In Burma, that how the people of different level understand the prasadam of Lord according to their taste and level of understanding. So he nicely mentioned with this how nowadays people are using this art as a source of supply, but they don't understand the value that if you dig on one side, the other side has to be filled in. So we are creating vacuums on, and that is creating all this natural disaster like flood, fire, and there's earthquake, tsunami. This is because of the imbalance of the material resources from the earth. And that is how the Shastra is giving us. We need to be very, very careful about the treatment towards the earth. If we mistreat it, it will show its own nature. And that is how we are feeling today. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you very much for your comment, Prabhu. Anybody else? Any queries, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for the very nice lecture, and you have explained everything. And when we cooperate with or the instruction of the Lord and try to try to get the things from the Lord in the way directed by the Lord. The earth supplies us, all our needs according to our requirements. But when we do not do that, we land ourselves into serious problem in all the problems that has been created, as you have rightly pointed out, that these are all the results of our not following the Lord's instruction. One way or the other, we are trying to make ourselves, trying to think ourselves independent without the instruction of the Lord, and in this way, letting ourselves into another problem. And as you have rightly pointed out, that the artificial use of fertilizers, they have spoiled the land, and with the urge to extract more and more from the earth, but in the process we have depleted the land's fertility and trying to recover it by using more fertilizer, and in this way the whole ecosystem has been damaged, and that has landed ourselves in more problem. So we should always remember that we should follow the instruction of the Lord's, and we must always remember that the Lord has provided us all our needs. If we follow only the instruction properly, by following the instruction of the that is given in our Shastra and the Acharyas, then we can keep ourselves happy and live in this life very happily, and we can also prepare ourselves for the next life, which the human being are only capable of, and the other living beings, we have to take care of them, not only the human beings but all other living as well, and that can be done when we follow the instructions of our Shastras and follow the instruction of our Acharyas. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your nice class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Any comments? Shall we close here? Thank you, everyone, for.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice explanation. I was not very sure about this communism and capitalism thing. So today it became very clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
After your explanation.
Okay, we'll end the class here. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktavan ki Bhaktavan. Panchaka Padruvesha.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Prabhu
Ki jai.
Hari Hari Bol.